The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. We know that Africa has been projected on the world stage as the poorest continent, that we are not able to do anything for ourselves because we depend on all these people outside of Africa to feed us, to do everything for us in Africa. These people always say Africa is the reason to which they are overburdened, because they have to always leave their people to come and see to it that Africans too are also somebody, because according to them we are crying reparation every year. So for that reason we said they are the reasons to which we are poor. They came and colonized us, and that's why we are not moving forward. And that's the reason to which whatsoever that they are doing, they always think back and see to it that we also become somebody. Then finally we had some leaders, warriors, heroes who rose up in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso and decided to kick these people out and said, okay, enough. Because you said after we had our independence, you have to be there to give us the security that we need, yet we are not seeing any security. What we have seen in the guise of this security is our natural resources moving out, and the destabilization continues. So for that reason, we want you to move out and let us also take charge of our security and our own affairs. And these people said there was a problem, that they don't understand why we have to allow them to go. There was someone, a senator in the United States of America, who said Biden is even weak, that if it were to be in the time of Trump, there would have been war in Niger. That why is it that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have been able to kick them out? Now France is also saying, why did they kick them out? That we cannot do it. They have to be there to give us the security. And now that we said enough of everything we are giving to, that you have done well, your Popo. You have done well now. Thank you. Now we have leaders who have risen to say enough of the help. You to Yolo Popo, you have done enough. Rest now. And these people are saying, they don't understand why we are asking them to leave Africa. Why do we have to sack them out of Africa? This, they wouldn't take it. Now the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, is accusing Russia of being the reason to which they are losing grip on Africa. That Russia is the reason to which Africa is kicking them out right in center everywhere now. Nobody wants to set the eye on France. So that they have to act very fast. Europe and America have to come together and make sure they deal with Russia once and for all. That man Putin, if they don't do everything possible to silence Putin, that they will never know peace. So they have to do everything possible to make Putin to lose the power that Putin is having on Africa, so that they will be able to thrive. That if not, if they should allow Putin to have his way, like what is happening in Ukraine, if Putin should finally succeed and win this war, that wahala for them, they are all in trouble.
It has had very aggressive actions in space. It destabilizes us. It attacks our interest in Africa. It provokes us. It tests us. At sea as in the air. And it has this war effort that I mentioned. So yes, it is already in a way in what we call a hybrid war, meaning it attacks us, tests us, challenges us in almost the entire range of the game, if it were to escalate. First of all, we French never forget, we have nuclear deterrence. I then gap on TikTok. Mr. President, are we truly ready to act if Russia becomes aggressive with the whole of Europe? Well, that's a good question. It's obviously the one behind everything we're currently doing. Let me tell you, Russia is already aggressive with the whole of Europe. It started, it intensified. And that's what I was telling you. I was telling you it helps Iran, which is a threat. It places North Korean soldiers on European soil. It has a very strong army. It attacks us on information, cyber migration. But I could have mentioned other things. It's a threat in space. It has had very aggressive actions in space. It destabilizes us. It attacks our interest in Africa. It provokes us. It tests us. At sea as in the air. And it has this war effort that I mentioned. So yes, it is already in a way in what we call a hybrid war, meaning it attacks us, tests us, challenges us in almost the entire range of the game, if it were to escalate. First of all, we French never forget, we have nuclear deterrence. And so it really relies on deterrent weapons, meaning we have autonomous capabilities. As the head of the armed forces, I have the responsibility for this with an established doctrine and I look after the vital interests of our country. And so this normally deters attacks from countries that would be too aggressive with our national interests. But obviously, Russia could very well decide to attack tomorrow, to be more aggressive, especially if there were to be a bad peace in Ukraine or a defeat. And surely it would go on to provoke other European countries, whether they are members of the European Union or not. At that point, we would have to react. So yes, we are ready. This is the whole point of the effort we are making within the framework of NATO. We also have forces that are pre-positioned all over, and France is part of it. I am showing you this little map with our efforts. We have 2,000 soldiers as I speak to you. We have 2,000 soldiers in NATO who are pre-positioned on this Eastern Front. And there is obviously, this is the contribution of the French, particularly in Romania, where I decided we would deploy as early as February. But there are all the Allied forces, many American forces, by the way, that are there. And so, yes, we are organized to respond. And all these countries, the Europeans and the Allies, are strong. They are strong because we have increased our posture and because we also have our American ally, it must be said, who represents about a third of this effort. And what he tells us is, I need you to take on more. And so in the short term, we know how to do it. For ourselves, for sure. For the Europeans at our eastern borders, yes, because we also have American support. And we need to have a 5-10-year strategy, which is for us Europeans to do more to somewhat relieve the Americans of this part of the burden and to be even more autonomous. But the answer is yes. We know how to do it and we are ready.
So they have kept system in place, that they have also seen that the United States of America has been a party to them in so many ways. So they have to also have their own force to be able to stand up for themselves. So they have about 2,000 army. Yes, that they have a very big plan. Oh, that if Putin knows what they are going to do to him, he would have started running by now. That they are doing everything possible to defeat Putin. This man is so aggressive with Africa, Russia. We know recently, even then, the United States of America, but that now where things have gotten to, they have to team up, come together as a people with the United States of America to make sure that they fight Putin. Putin has become the enemy. No wonder I've been telling, he is the king of the world, the savior of the world. That is why these people are targeting him, because wherever Putin goes, there is peace. Wherever they are flaming, when he gets there, he cools it down. These people said Africa, we should be lying down, doing nothing. So that all they will do is to come into the continent to be carrying the natural resources away. And Putin said, what? Are you for real? If you are men, go and do your doing by yourselves and take care of your economies. You can't sit in your country and be asking people to be saving their money in your central bank and be taking interest in the same money that belongs to the people. That is corruption. That is broad day robbery. So Putin said, no, let me have these people to be on their own so that this injustice, this broad day robbery will come to an end. You are saying, you don't understand. How is it that you don't understand? How can you be printing CFA franc to Francophone nations in Africa, yet you yourself, you don't use it now? These are the things that Putin is saying. They must come to an end. And this man is angry. You are angry for nothing. If Africa is poor and we need you, now we are saying we don't need you. Go now, wahala now. Must you be crying? Must you be crying, Emmanuel Macron? The man is very angry. So these people are not sleeping. They are still doing everything in their capacity and power to come back. No wonder Captain Ibrahim Traore told us that these people that left in uniform, that they are going to sit there and strategize and come back, when Emmanuel Macron himself openly said that it isn't that they've left Africa, that they can never leave. You know, when would they leave Africa? They will go bankrupt. They can't survive without us. So they are doing everything possible, like the economists are saying, their professors, that this war is economic war on Africa. They will do everything to wage war on us. It's just that it's Africans who are still sleeping. When we get and sleep, when we get some few dollars, our leaders will just go and be sleeping. These people are not sleeping, because if we rise up, they will fall. Ours is to go and sit in the summits that they've created. They have organized and paid and given us teams to come and talk about. So go and stand there and be preaching and clap and come back home. These people are not sleeping because they have vowed that whatsoever that their ancestors did for them to get whatsoever they are enjoying, they will continue. Unlike us, that people sacrifice their life